the set, so take your place. There is no more condemnation. There is only grace.
Growth Radio, Gospel Radio. Our way to heaven. Growth Radio, Gospel Radio. Our way to heaven. One king and one kingdom making people feel like family.
Growth Radio is growing with a new program, Interview with the Authors. Local authors, regional authors, international authors, new authors, and well-seasoned authors too. Join us every Thursday evening from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. AST. We're interviewing authors, and who knows, next time we could be interviewing you. Interview with the Authors every Thursday evening, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. on GrowthRadioTT.com.
Growth Radio. Growth Radio. Growth Radio. Growth Radio.
And good evening, Growth Radio listeners. We so appreciate having you back with us this evening. It's always a pleasure to be with you. And this evening, we want to say a special good evening to all of those persons listening to us on TuneIn Radio, Radio Garden, Listen to My Radio, radio.net, My Radio Heart, and those of you who are on YouTube and Facebook Live, welcome. You are always welcome here. So this evening, we have another wonderful interview on this episode of Interview with the Authors. We have a new author in studio. And we want to welcome another local author. You know, I like to keep it local. If there are persons out there who are not, but you want to come on to Growth Radio, who are not locals, you're also welcome. Give us a call on support. Give us an email, on support@growthradiott.com. That's fine. We're going to look at your bio. We're going to look at your stats and everything, and we'll consider you, no problem at all. Right. But this evening, we have a daughter of the soil, and we are very, very happy to have her. I'm glad she accepted our invitation. Now, she is a scholar, and she is a writer of two very important books. The topics are very essential for living, for life, and for living. And we want to get into, the why, the how, the who concerning these books that this person wrote. But even before that, we's Trini, and we like to know people's business. So I had to find out a little bit of her business before we even get into the business of the book, right? And to let you know whose business it is we mining this evening on Growth Radio, Interview with the Authors, it is Dr. Nicole Parris. All right, so if you've not heard of her before, you're going to hear about her tonight. She is a PhD in sports studies. She earned her PhD in sports studies at the University of Trinidad and Tobago. She's not only an author, but she's a wife, she's a mother, a grandmother as well, and a healthy one too. And we're very glad to have her with us. She's going to talk a little bit more about herself, to share a little more about her life, so that we can get to know who this author is. We want to know who the person behind the writing, behind the books is, even before we get into the book. So without further ado, we want to say a warm Growth Radio welcome to Dr. Nicole Parris. Welcome, Dr. Parris, to Growth Radio.
Thank you so much, Ms. Rose. Good evening to Radio Land, everyone hearing my voice today. I just want to say good evening. It's a pleasure being here. It's a pleasure being here today. So, Ms. Brooms, now that you have spoken so much about me, what would you like to hear about me personally? Yes, I'm a wife, I'm a mother of four, a grandmother, I'm a healthy one, a strong advocate for health. Yes. I love the Lord dearly. What else would you like to hear? Oh.
Well, I know you didn't just come just fly on the scene just so. So we wanted to find out, how you reach where you is now,
Yes, so. But God has been good. God has been good. And I just want to recognize that, even before I start, Ms. Brooms. So let me tell you, God has been good. I always wanted to be actually, yes, I always wanted to be
Do you want to get that, Dr. Parris?
it's not on my side.
It's not on your side. Okay.
It's not on my side.
Okay. Mr. John, is that you? Okay, sorry about that. That's the thing with live. You're gonna edit that part out. All right.
So,
Yes.
so Ms. Broome, I am a physical education teacher by profession, but this was not my dream. My dream job actually was just to become a police officer, in the army, prison, anything military. That was my heart, that was my passion.
Okay.
But even while growing up, I was always active in sports, in netball, anything physical like that. I was always taking part in physical activity. But growing up, my career, that was my career choice at the time. And having failed many occasions, the police height. After going back over and over, now I'm seeing there are so many short police female officers, but at my time, there was this height that I just could not get in. But God has been good. I also grew up selling in the market in Arima, sell spice and clove and stuff like that. I wasn't really academically at the time inclined. I was always a C student growing up because I was more into sports. I never really take books seriously. However, getting involved in a relationship early before I turned 18, got pregnant with my first son, got married and just settled down, moved in school without any passes. You know, even going through all of this, I know God has been good. When I look back now, I could see Romans 8:28, and we know that all things work together for those who love God. But so growing up that time with 4 kids, couldn't get no job, have no passes. I made a trip, I remember, to New York to meet my mother-in-law then. And when I got there, there was something called GED that high school students will do if they did not finish high school. And I went up there to spend 6 months. After 2 months, I saw this book called GED. And I said, I'm going to sign up because, you know, I had no passes at the time. I was just there killing time. I had 4 months. So I looked at the book, I signed up for the exam. And what I did was divided the book by the days before the exam, and I studied that particular GED book. I did that and I came back home to Trinidad months after. I got this big letter in a big way from the United States saying that I was successful in this GED. And then somebody overheard and told me that if I assess it, it was equivalent to CXC, and I did not believe them, but because I had nothing to do, I had 4 mouths to feed, I decided to only go ministry, see what can happen, and I went into Ministry of Education, and it was assessed apparently, and she told me, yes, you could apply for work. I said, well, let's see how good this is. I'll test it. Let me apply for teaching, and I did, and I got through with teaching, and it started there, Ms. Broome. I went to Valsain Teachers College. I started at Tunapuna Boys RC, went on to Valsain Teachers College. It was hard. It was hard because I was older and there were younger people, you know, now come out from lower upper 6. They were vibrant. All I could have done was a type of change diapers, really good, and nurse, fling it out and nurse. That was what I was good at the time. So here I am now in Teachers College, you know, trying to keep up with these young people. But what is so good, I remember being there. And because I was always into physical activities, sports and stuff, I remember when we had to choose elective, I went straight in to physical education. I didn't look at nothing else, just went and sat straight in that class. And I remember sitting there and some young girls came in and I said, this class is not for you, this is not cricket, it was a racial comment. And I remember they gave me real good. That young lady today, Euclid Nicholas Sammy, that young lady, I'll never forget it. Yeah. We became good friends. I taught her the practicals and that young lady taught me the theory. We got through Teachers College together. And it was a group of us, and I remember she saying to us, this is not good enough, Nicole. Let's go to UB and do the CPE. This was a course with a whole set of sports, netball, and I went with her. We went there, we accomplished what we had to. She said, this is not enough. So it's a group of us now, so we were lining together, excuse. And Ms. Broome, at the time I was happy to line because I didn't want to go home and change diapers and nurse anymore. So it was a way of escape for me at the time. So we will line after these courses. When we finished now, she said, this is not good enough. We cannot stop here. So this was a group. I said, let us go to USC and do our degree. I'm in Broome, not that I was interested, but I followed the crowd. It was a smart, educated, a crowd that knew where they wanted to go. And I followed them. So we went to USC and we completed our degree there. And then the crowd said, this is not good enough. I think we were addicted now. They said, let's go and do our masters. At the time, Ms. Broome, I had no interest, but the crowd was going and it was my escape. I did not want to go home and deal with the 4 kids. You know, I had them so early. So I went on to do this masters at University of the Southern Caribbean. When we got there, when we finished, now they said, let us go and do project management. And this is how the crowd kept going from here, as soon as they finished. So we went to do project management. And when we got there, this is where the falling out happened, people left. And at the time, now it was I alone end up at the end. And I too wanted to drop out, but I had 4 children looking on. I had an audience. So even though I was running from them, they were looking at me. So because I had an audience of these 4 children waiting to see if I would drop out for them to say, well, mommy, you drop out so we could drop out too. I stuck with it. I completed the project management by myself. And I remember the Monday handing up the last assignment. I said, Lord, I am through. No more books to me. That was the Monday. The Thursday, the group signed up to do a PhD, and there I was again. After confessing that Monday, the Thursday, I was in this PhD class. Lord and behold, this was in 2013. We went to Current, South for 2 years, and then it was shown out by UTT. They said that we didn't do things, follow the proper procedures. We didn't follow protocol, so that was shown on 2 years going down to South. We will let just sleep every week. And I guess they decided to fight the university. And I said, listen, you know what? I know my children looking at me. I went quietly. I told them, I'm not going to fight this fight. This is not what God wants. I'm going to sign up and do it the right way. And I did. And I went. But you know what? Only now that I look back, I realized they were my driving force at the time. And when they all dropped out, God provided a special woman to help me, Professor Valerie Stout at the time at UTT. She was the whole group in one person. And she motivated me to finish this PhD. So I started and I completed in 2018. Ms. Broome, I have a PhD in sports study. I love sports. I love physical activity. However, I don't know why God gave me a PhD. So this is my prayer now. I said, Lord, you have an assignment for me. You brought me from the market. This is permission. I am ready to do your will. So I'm believing now, this growth radio is funny because I think that what God has for me, I am not the Nicole Parris he's ready to give it to. So I am growing and developing. I am experiencing some things right now, Ms. Broome, that it's difficult. I've seen friends go on and leave me. I've seen my children pull away because I made a stand for holiness. I made a stand for righteousness. And I even had my last son say, everything with you is Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Don't be so Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. I said, boy, if you only know. Jesus before, he's in the middle, and he's after. Where I am today, it is because of Jesus. This has nothing to do with me. I remember seeing one person and he went like this. Camille, you are a teacher. Camille, you are a teacher. He said that about 5 times and no, I was done then. The way he said it, he almost, convinced me, what am I doing here? He said that about 4 or 5, Camille, and I said, God, this has to be God and his goodness. So after doing this PhD now, finish, is my passion. I don't like, Ms. Broome, to see people in pain. I don't like to see people hurting and sick, especially when some of the things that they are suffering with, it could be managed by choices we make, non-communicable diseases. If we make better choices, if we choose to live a better life, you know, some of them, you know, we could manage. Our bodies, they are the temple. This is where God resides. And, you know, plenty of people will say, well, spiritual exercise is more important than physical. Yes. But if you don't have, if you don't have your body, then the Holy Spirit, then you're illegal on earth. You know, you need the Holy Spirit need a body to operate in. So this is where my first book came out, 2020 lockdown. And we had all this time to do so many things. I decided to use the opportunity to compile the games we played growing up, like red light, green light, 1, 2, 3. We did some relays, some tag games, you know, rabbit in the hutch. Those games we played growing up, I compiled them to help teachers, especially at the primary level. They have so much to do. And sometimes for them to think about something to help these students to develop the foundation, the foundation skills, like just run and jump, it is so much for them. So I decided that, you know, if they have a book like this, the instructions are there, showing them how to play the games, you know, and the games could be played during break time. Break time don't mean that you have to eat something. You know, you could play red light, green light just to get the children moving, to get them involved, so that the transition from primary to secondary school will be a little, you know, I guess easier. So, you know, at that time when they come to the secondary school, now you could introduce them to discipline, to sports. But sometimes they don't come with the basic foundation, the physical literacy, they don't come across to the secondary school with. So this book actually was compiled to help primary school teachers. The book too could also, you could use it for games when you're having your little family reunion, Sunday school, when you could do something with the little kids. There are some games that you could play there with them. So it's to get them moving, to get children moving. They don't know about playing pelpan and hide and seek. They don't know about these things, you know, so it's about helping. Yes, the teachers at the primary school, so they don't want to have to think a lot about what they could do. They just have a book that would give them all the instructions, everything. And then, yes, it's also for the younger ones to get them moving. And, you know, just a book pile with, as I said, the games we played growing up. And this is how I am here where I am today.
Wow, you know? What a story, what an account. And all you who listening, I'm going to tell all you a secret, huh? Hear what has happened before we went live. This lady here, who now talks straight for a good 15 minutes. Hear what she tell me. Why is this meeting? Why is this interview? What I go say? You know, if I have enough to say, you know, and it's so wonderful. It's so great, because even right here on the set, Miss Parris, Dr. Parris, my apologies, is growing. You know, she's growing right in front of us. And that is the beauty of our Lord. That's the beauty of growth. You know, it's happening even when you don't even expect it. And, you know, Dr. Parris, I really want to say thank you so much for sharing that awesome account of your life with us. That is so incredible. And it is so essential for us to hear, for adults and for children to hear, because you've given us so much. I mean, I have my whole 2 pages full of notes. Plus you give me material. It's so rich what you've just shared, you know, from your beginning and where you are now. I mean, I am excited. I am in awe of what God can do. You know, your life is a testimony, actually. It is a testimony. It is a reflection of what God can do with anyone. If you just give him your life, you know, he can do awesome things that you would never have thought of. And I want to say thank you for really sharing that, so that those who are listening, wherever you are, you know that there is hope for you. It doesn't matter where you had your start. It doesn't matter where you start. Dr. Parris said she started off in the market selling spice. Look at her now. She is Dr. Spice Seller, right? Spice Seller with a PhD. Okay, and so much more, and so much more. Even that friend, Dr. Parris, that couldn't believe his eyes.
He went on.
He went on. He so couldn't believe it's the same woman. And that is the beauty of serving God. And you know, a lot, even when you said your son, say, all this Jesus, 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 we get that a lot because people have not experienced him. You know, the word of God says, taste and see that the Lord is good. It's because we've tasted and we keep tasting and he keeps getting sweeter and sweeter. We addicted. He like drugs. He better than drugs. You know, and a lot of people don't understand that because they have not tasted. And because they have not tasted, they have not seen. The reason why a lot of us are even alive today, all of us even, is because of Christ. Right? And I want to give God all the honor for where you are, Dr. Parris. I want to give God all the glory for what he has, the great things he has done in your life. And he's only just beginning. Keep giving him, keep submitting, and you'll see where next he's going to take you. We are excited at Grow to see how you're going to grow again, what direction, you know. I mean, it's only up, but God can, you know, he can expand you on every side. And I pray that his expansion will continue, not even only for you, but for your children and your children's children and your children's children up to 1,000 generations. All right. Oh gosh. So, and you know, this that you said, this not good enough crowd that you was following, isn't that amazing?
Yes, but you know, I just want to stop you right here, Ms. Brooks. Let me take this opportunity to let people know I love my kids, you know, yes, even though I use the opportunity to escape. I love my kids. Yes. It's just, you know, very young, at the age 17, I got pregnant with my first child. So, you know, it was a way of escape. You know, my life was just with kids. So I had this opportunity, but I love my kids. I just want people to know I love them.
Claro que sí, of course. We're not even dearly. Yes, I wasn't even thinking otherwise. Yes, it's nice to get a breather once in a while. But
and Ms. Brooms, let me just share this too, because you know, sometimes you have to give honor where honor is. This young lady that I spoke about, Miss Euclid Nicholas at the time, she was really dear to me. We became, after I making that racial comment, we became really good friends, huh? Because, you know, even though people look at me now and they see what they see now, I lost a lot during that time. I remember when we were at USC, I was going through a hard time, with my marriage we had, and you know, when I found out of what was happening, the infidelity, I wanted to drop out. And that young lady, that same young lady said, Fafi, you cannot drop out. And when I decided to, you know, at the point in time, you know, people might say it was dishonest, but, you know, I need to put it out there. I remember that we had to give up some assignments, and I stopped USC for a while, for a short period. And this young lady, what she did, she wrote, if we had an assignment, she will do 3, 4, 5 assignments, the same thing, the same topic, but she will write it in different ways. And she'd say, choose one to hand up. And I was no longer going to class because I was devastated. My marriage was going through. And she kept me afloat until I caught myself and went back to USC. You know, and I want to put that out there, you know, at the time, you know, some might say dishonest, it was bad, but she really was a dear friend to me. At that time, I should have been out of USC. And for that period there, that 2, 3 assignments she wrote about 5 or 6 now. What you doing up writing? The same question, you wrote it about 5 or 6 times, and you know, she'll come and say, take one, you can't drop out now. And she's not a Christian at the time, a strong Muslim young lady. And she said, you can't drop out, Fafi, not now. Apparently, I was her encouragement, her motivation to continue. But I wasn't seeing it like that. She was my motivation to continue, you know. So it had a two-way flow in that, and that young lady, you know, helped me along that way. You know, God really placed, you know, strategic people at the time in my life, and I lost a lot. You know, I lost a lot during that time, a marriage of 19 years. Um, you know, and it hurt, it pained, but I studied more. You know, I couldn't stop, you form a habit after 21 days. Well, after 7 years of studying, sometimes you don't want to stop. It's a habit also. So I just wanted, so at times I just couldn't stop. I want to study something. So now I give so much to academics. And now I'm giving a lot to the Lord. And if I had to do it all over again, that is the only thing I will switch. I will make sure that God is in the forefront of things. I will do things a little different in terms of, I will put him first, more. You know, I didn't understand at the time, the knowledge that I have, I didn't have it at the time, but I knew God was with me. You know, I knew God was with me. He has been good. I love God. He knows that I love him. I've been serving him. But the only thing is that, you know, sometimes you're serving him, you have one foot in, one foot out. It's no longer like that. Give him your all, your all. When you give him your all, he will give you back his all. So it's, you know, giving him your all, partner with the Holy Spirit. And I didn't do that as much as I should, you know, but now I'm partnering with him because I have this page and people say, well, I say, I know I have it for him. I just waited on God. It had to be submission because all I wanted to be was a police officer and I would have been good with the authority and the power. So it has to be God. So I'm sitting here waiting and I'm reading and meditating and doing a lot of study, just preparing myself for wherever God will, you know, take me next. And this book, as I told people, it is not like I'm this big author that I'm going to come out with more and more. This was just inspired by God. These two books, just inspiration by God during the time of the pandemic. And I wrote this book. I brought it out to help in terms of physical activity, to get people active, to get people healthy, to get people aware. People know of health. People are aware of the benefits. I don't have to come to tell you what is the problem. Is people actually believe it, that it can help, and they're doing it. Implementing it is always our problem. Implementation. You know, we know it is good. We are aware that we know of it, but how much are you believe it? You have to believe it to actually implement it, to do it. So it's getting people to do it, you know, getting people be healthy. Take that time for yourself at 20 minutes after you're done prayer, spend time with the Lord and do something for yourself, you know.
Yes, I will have to. Yes, you are so right. And I mean, even talking to me, I mean, although I'm under 100 pounds, I mean, it doesn't matter what size you are, you need to be active because the body still needs what the body needs, right? And you know, whatever is happening inside, it needs you to be active so the blood could flow and all these things to run smoothly. That's how God made us, to be active. You know, even before he gave Adam a woman, he gave him work. That's physical labor. So that in itself is also exercise. So it's important for us to be able to have that balance. So yes, you're talking to me, sister, you're preaching there. So I will try to take some of that. And yes, so this book, could you show us what it looks like?
And get you a copy.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. A signed copy. Yes, please.
Yes.
And so even on that note, so where can parents and teachers get? Is it in the libraries? Is it in schools? How do we get a copy of that book?
It is at the National Library.
National Library.
But what happened? It is because the pandemic, we really didn't get it all. Most of the primary school in the East,
yes,
they would have had a copy, and I did not sell the book. Wow. Really, yeah, I just asked for a donation and was given the book to the primary school so that the teachers will actually do something with the students. So when they come across to the secondary school, they would not be so, you know, they have all these negative ideas about what is physical activities. They don't want to sweat, they don't want to this, they don't know what to do. You know, they come with a whole lot of baggage, ideas, misconception of physical activities. So I'm hoping now that things are soon to be close to normal, will never be normal again. But especially now where children been home so long, cook up, that I'll have the opportunity again to, market it up.
That is great. That's nice of you to do that. So are you online? Are you on social media? How can persons get in touch with you? How can we learn more about the book?
Okay, I am on Facebook, yes, but I also started a foundation called Daily Physical Activity. It's a foundation. It's about helping student athletes. We help them financially, they need uniform, training, whatever they need. Finance for a ticket to travel, they need a coach. We help them counseling, we help them spiritually, we help them if they need a diet chart. So we have that there for student athlete, and another goal is to help individuals get physically active. So if you need a pair of sneakers and you reach out, we will help you with a pair of sneakers. You need some skipping rope, we will help you in every little way that we can so that you can, implement daily physical activity in your life. So this is what the foundation is about. We had actually right now have a 21 days challenge going on, asking people to do something for 30 minutes. Post, it's just not post you doing it, but post workout completed, hashtag, put your name and put day one. But we ask people to do it for 21 consecutive days. So we're going to have 3 more for this year, hoping that the group will get larger and people will actually try to. We have a little stipend, a little gift of $500 if you could, do exercise now. We did not put up any videos there with us doing any exercises. There are so many resources out there. There are a lot of resources that people could use, dance, they could use whatever they like, a sport, a game, whatever, but we're just asking you to 30 minutes each day, and as soon as you finish your workout, you post it. Your name, hashtag, workout completed, your name, day one. Hashtag, you do that every day for 21 days, but what happens once you miss a day, and you miss the time to post, then you're no longer in the running for $500. Right? Because we want you to implement this for 21 days. So people can get to, it's a habit. Once you can do something for 20 days, say, no, your habit is good. Research has proven that. So if you go on to Daily Physical Activity Foundation page, Facebook, you can, there are numbers there. You can contact me, learn more about the book. The board books are up there actually, Ms. Broome, so they can learn more who I am and what the foundation is like, and they can contribute to the foundation. Just saying.
That is awesome. Yes. So, and why not? So Daily Physical Activity Foundation.
Yes, that is Daily Facebook.
So that's a Facebook page name, Daily Physical Activity Foundation, right? So just for Growth Radio listeners, Daily Physical Activity Foundation, go and check her out on Facebook. Please like, please join, please share. All right. And why not take part in the challenge? It's one of 3 coming up, you said?
Yes, we're gonna have about 3 more for the rest of the year, so people can get involved. This one is I think this one will be completed on the 7th of April.
Okay, that's great. So then another one starts, another one, right?
Yes.
Wonderful. That is a wonderful idea. And as you said earlier, and it's a bit heartbreaking for you that so many Trinidad and Tobagonians and dealing with health issues that are preventable. And there's an advantage to me. Being living in this land, living in Trinidad and Tobago is an advantage, because of what we have. We've got everything that we need to be the healthiest nation, in my view, in the world. We have the vegetation, we have the fruits, we've got the fauna, we've got the temperatures is perfect, we've got the beaches, we've got everything to be a healthy society. Why is it we are not?
Mindset.
Okay.
That's changing.
Okay.
It's just a mindset. We don't have to wait until we're on a bed and a doctor says, if you don't change, we're gonna die next week, and then we start to. There's a mindset for Carnival. You say, I can hardly run on Larry Broome Stadium. There's so many people around that particular time, so it's a mindset. It is a mindset, it's an attitude change. Yes, you have to love yourself. One of the things I think about is me passing myself on to my children. I don't want to be in a position where I am stopping them from actually living, because I have so many non-communicable diseases. You know, I have diabetes, I can't see it, this is cut off, this is happening, you know, blood pressure is too high, you can't go. No, I want to pass myself over to my children, like my mother. She has passed herself over to us. She's mobile. She gets up at 8 every morning, 5 o'clock. She makes 2 laps around Larry. She come back, she take a bath. You know, she's mobile, she's active. And I want to pass myself same to my kids, so that they would feel that, you know, they can't live their life because they have to look at mommy, they have to look after mommy. Mommy need help, you know, mommy must be mobile. Mommy
I
wants to be
understand.
healthy, you
Yes,
know?
yes, yes. I understand. That is great, and that's a good example. I mean, you're living by example, and even your whole life is an example for your children. And you know, I'm so glad that you had your children. I'm so glad that they were there, because they, even in the hard times, you know, because you had an audience, as you said, because they were looking at you, you know, to see whether you would fail or succeed, you know, because sometimes children could just look at parents and say they're just looking for excuse to cop out, to not do something, but you didn't give them that excuse. And I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. And that's one of the advantages of having kids, is that you have someone, somebody looking up to you. You have somebody to live for. You have somebody to gun for the goal for, you know? You have those children as your audience. They're looking, they feeding off of you. So I'm very, very glad for the whole setup. However, God, you know, he used the hard, and he made something beautiful out of it. I mean, diamonds go through a lot of pressure. You wouldn't get anything beautiful outside of that. So it was all, as you said earlier, Romans 8, it's all for good. He turned all the badness, all the hardness, all the tears, all the pain for good, for excellent, right? And we give God the praise for that. And so there's this mindset that Trinidad and Tobagonians have with regards to physical activity. So this book that you have here, simple instructions for daily physical activities. You said it's for children, so can it also be used by adults?
Oh yes, so games we played growing up. People could still play the games, relays. It has just for some of the games that we have. We have things like, we still play musical hoops, musical chairs, musical spot. When we go to, I don't know if people do it now when they go to their family reunion. We have so many other things now that people use, you know. We have like hunts. There's also things like simple circuit and jumping jacks and simple repeat and aerobics, cat and wolf or cat and mouse. We have, as I said, rabbit in the hutch. We have hit tag. We play some games, sway. We play sway on the beach. I don't know if people still do that, with a ball, carry a ball and play sway on the beach. You know, those are things we played growing up. We have diagonal relays. We have skiing. People, I don't know if people still do that, but I try to get the children to do that. You take, you know, the little bit ball and you sky it and you try to, I don't know if people still do that, but people do that and we grow here growing up. You know, so yes, it is for children, but as I said, the book can be used also for family reunions. You know, you can play games from it, you know, family reunions. Or even in Sunday school, you can use it and do something with the children at Sunday school. But it wasn't really designed as a, you know, you want to know if adults could use it too. Yeah, you could use it in that setting, but it's more or less foundation. It's physical literacy to get children skipping, jumping, running, because these skills is what you use now in sports. These are the skills that you use to develop, you know, the discipline. You know, so if you're doing throwing and catching, you know, later on you want to play cricket, you know, you're doing some kind of jumping jack, something. Those are the things that might want to use for long jump and high jump. You know, so they have the foundation, basic literacy So it's to get them into playing sports, more or
That's
less.
great. It's a wonderful, that's a wonderful resource. Sorry about that. It's a wonderful resource, I think, for families, even for communities. And you know what's also exciting me is that Trinidad and Tobagonians are living abroad, perhaps who didn't grow up here. They could use that with their children to teach them about the games we used to play. And, you know, I am excited. I'm excited to get a copy in my hand. I'm gonna give you my address one time. You know, that is awesome that even parents and children, grandparents and grandchildren could play together just for bonding.
Yes, that's what.
You know, just bonding opportunities, and that just to get them out from in front of the screen
For a while, you know.
for a while, yes, and have those times with your children. I mean, even that it hits a lot of targets. It hits a lot, you know, it gets to a lot of targets there. You know, it's not only a very important physical foundation. You know, you said physical literacy. That's a very important foundation, but it also helps with your relationship with your parents and with your friends. You know, you could teach your friend, yes, teach your neighbor, the child next door, let me try this new game. You know, I see so much that could be done with this book and these I kill get me a copy to me real fast, eh? I need to share this with the children in my community because it is so exciting. These are the games that we used to play before internet. Before Facebook and Snapchat or whatever else they have. I don't know, the plethora of social media platforms. But what else can you tell us? What else can you tell us about this book? Why should a parent have this book in the house?
If not parent, yes, the parent, and if not the parent, the primary school teacher. The administrator, the administration at the primary school. I'm speaking from this standpoint as a physical education teacher. So I am seeing the lack of when they come into the school. I was on a little sick leave, so I went out to school yesterday, Ms. Brooks, and I had a Form 1 saying to me, a little young man said, I don't sweat. We started to do physical activity again. I just went to meet the class, introduce myself, and he said to me, I don't sweat. You know, and I was like, you know, yes, we have to get it there to the teacher, and yes, we have to get it there to the parents. And parents need to take time, yes. We cannot always depend on the schools to do everything to grow up our children. They have to take some responsibility. Parents have to take responsibility on mine. So I know I'm going to get letters saying, my son do not want to play physical activity today, please excuse me. But somehow, I don't know, but this is in my environment, children tend to really speak to parents. You know, so I know I'm going to get letters stating, my child don't want to sweat, or something wrong with my child, you know, but this is where we are. So I'm hoping that the book, yes, will help the primary school teachers, because I'm a teacher and I wanted to assist the teachers so that they transition from. But then you also have some parents who are heavily involved and the children are already into sports, swimming, the children into football. So, you know, there's a small, you know, portion also that you have to compliment those parents who are taking time to actually get their children involved in physical activities. But there's a large portion. And you know, if you look at my school, you know, 2 out of every 5 children are overweight, sitting now is even smoking. So I know they have been sitting a lot during the pandemic. And now it's time to get out there and do something. But the young man said to me, in less than 20 minutes after meeting, I don't sweat.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And you know, it's an imported culture. We import a lot of not only food, but we import a lot of the West's culture.
So we have to change our mindsets.
And it has to start even in the womb. Yeah, I would say even in the womb. you know, because once you know you're expecting, and even before you get pregnant, you know, you should be involved in some sort of physical activity to be healthy, so that whatever comes from you, you know, whatever God blesses you with, whoever, whatever child, what is one child, two children, triplets, quadruplets, or how much ever they come, you know, that it's a culture that starts even in the womb, for in my perspective, right? And you know, you said earlier that there are a lot of overweight children in Trinidad and Tobago, and diabetes is a problem in Trinidad and Tobago. But do you
Yes,
have
it
any
is.
statistics when you were doing your research, your PhD research? What were these statistics like? What did they tell you?
Oh, no, Miss Brooks, I don't want to, I probably will give you wrong information if I go there right now, honestly.
Okay.
Back then, no, no, seriously, back then we had over, I think, if I am thinking, over 500 to 600 amputations a year. People, but this is not with schools, it's just people in general in Trinidad and Tobago. If it's not a leg, a hand, a toe, a finger, was prevalent at the time when I was doing my research. But I cannot say now if it's 5 out of 10 or 6 out of, I don't have the figures there, I don't have the data, you know, now the present data in front of me. But I know that this is high, and I know when you are overweight, when you're obese or overweight, most of the non-communicable diseases stem from that. When you're overweight.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
most of them.
Mm-hmm. And so many other things, you know, your heart, you know, all of your organs, your vital organs depend on you being healthy and you exercising. So,
Yes. And everything functioning, you know, smoothly working effectively. So, you know, it's a domino effect.
yeah, it's a
And while
domino
we're talking
effect.
about physical activity, we're not excluding, excuse me, Alexa, sir, not nutrition is very important too. You know, I will tell the kids I'm not going to deprive you from what you want to eat, but you know, everything in moderation. You know, everything in moderation. And I try to help them during the pandemic. I said, you should cut down on the carbs during the pandemic because you're not doing a lot of movement, you know, so eat more vegetable and fruits and stuff. And we designed plates for lunch, for breakfast. We did things like that. Every activity I gave, it was never individual activity. You must have your parents doing the activity with you. So I did
Ooh,
a
I like
family
that.
activity, yeah, because, you know, you had to make sure parents are home to supervise the child and
Right,
that the child
yes,
is in a safe environment. So
right.
that in itself was like asking for permission to do physical activity with your child. Because in
Yes,
fact, you are there, you
yeah,
will give the permission. In fact, you are there, you will make sure that the environment is safe. So
yes.
every activity I give was over the weekend, making sure that you must have adults there, grandparents, and sometimes I wonder if I was marking the child and the parents because they were more heavily involved in it. You know, parents were so you cannot, you know, exclude, as I say, nutrition. Nutrition too is important, and I show them, you know, I said if you are active and if you track and field and whatever sports in, then you might need, you know, a plate with, yes, carbs in it, more carbs in it. You're at home, you're not moving. You know. See if you could switch up, you know, snacks, you know, ask for more fruits. And then sometimes you don't know people pockets. So I will say, you know, look for fruits home in the area, acquire taste for them because they ain't like this and they ain't like this. They know apples and grapes, but they ain't no pomsite. They don't know what is a pomerac, you know. So yeah. You're telling them, you know, but this is the new age. This is the young people. But again, we have to also um, look at parents. Parents are the ones who are responsible for their child or children. You know, they are the ones who are responsible. So it's
That's
what they
correct.
do. And
That's
we have,
right.
you know, bring them up in the way they should go. So when they
Yeah.
go, only will be part. So it's based on, you know, the foundation you lay for them now.
Yes.
Nutrition, activities, the choices, decisions, what you're doing, you know, is based on the foundation parents are laying down. So I'm just
Yeah.
asking them to have a mindset, a new mindset, you know, think about it. If you love your children, you know, if you love yourself, a mindset is about renewing your mind. Once you could think it, once it germinates, you could speak it, you could, you know, actually put it into action. Do it. Not just be hearers, but doers. It's important.
It's important. It's important. It's important for the next generation and the generations to come. You know, as you said earlier, it's a domino effect. Whatever we do, there are effects, you know, on our children and our community. And you know, if you just think about it, if we think of the grand scheme of things, we want to have healthy employees. We want to have a healthy son-in-law, a healthy daughter-in-law. We want to have people in our lives who are healthy,
Just
right?
because they put a strain on you, yes, they do. They put a strain on society.
Yes.
Productivity is slower, you know, it's a domino effect. It affects every area.
Everything, because you know we are tripartite beings. So your spirit man, your natural man, you know, all of these things have to be given its right attention, you know, and given each thing needs to be given what it needs. So I'm happy for this book, and I think it needs to be even more widely distributed. Tell us again where we can get a copy, where the public listening can get a hold of one of your books.
I had Charisse bookstore in Arena, and the others they will have to contact me for a copy, because I distributed it to the schools in the east. Only in the east we were able to, and then you know, school closed down, but open for this July, August, that we will have, you know, access to go to other schools, not just schools, but go to the bookstores as well. People, as I said, could go onto the page, Daily Physical Activity Foundation. My number is there, 766-8895-298-092, and they can call me and get a copy. You'll get it cheaper from me than in the bookstore.
All right. So I think it makes a wonderful gift as well, that book. You know, it's such a beautiful, nostalgic book for me, you know. So if you're listening and you want a copy of Dr. Parris's book, it's called Simple Instructions for Daily Physical Activities, and it's physical activities that are cultural, that are endemic to Trinidad and Tobago, what we used to play, what our grandparents used to play growing up. And it makes a beautiful gift. It's great for schools, it's great for the families. Instead of the charades only when you go to different family occasions or weddings or whatever it is, you can get this book and look at the different ideas of games that you can play. So I want to encourage Growth Radio listeners and anybody who's listening to this program to get a copy of Dr. Parris's book, Simple Instructions for Daily Physical Activity. I'm going to get my copy, my signed copy. She's going to send one to me, so I'm going to be showing it off as soon as it's in my hand, and I'm going to be sharing it with the children in my community. You know, all who want to come and learn, I will invite them to come and learn about it. This is good stuff, and it's also a wonderful bonding opportunity for parents and children, and for grandparents and grandchildren. And you know, you said earlier that even the parents having more fun, they're enjoying it more than the children. That's awesome.
I guess they remember, right?
They remember,
the fun that they used to have.
The fun they used to have, yes, and they could still relive those fun times. It's beautiful. All over advantages with this book. So if you want a copy of Dr. Parris's book, you can give her a call on 766-8895. If you're calling from abroad, it's 1-868-766-8895. And you can also find out more about Dr. Parris and all that she's doing on her Facebook page called Daily Physical Activity Foundation. And you know, it is publicly supported. It's not it's a non-profit, is it,
Yes.
Dr. Parris?
Yes, it is.
Right. So support how you can. You know, if you have time, like you want to volunteer your services in any form or fashion, please do reach out to Dr. Parris, and she'll be happy to speak with you as to how you can contribute or you can volunteer to this very awesome and very essential gift that she's giving to Trinidad and Tobago and beyond. So Dr. Parris, I just want to say thank you. You know, this has been an awesome meeting you personally, and a very integral interview, I think. And this is one of two interviews that we're going to have with Dr. Parris. She's back with us next week, please God spare life. And we want to be able to hear more because she has written 2 books, that the market lady, right? She has written 2 books, PhD. This is what God can do. Don't worry about where you start. When you give God your life, he can take you anywhere. He can take you past the moon. Okay, so we want to encourage you as well. Any parent, any grandparent who's listening, once you have life, you have hope, God can do something with you. All right, just give him the pieces. He'll make a masterpiece out of it. All right, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. And if you want even encouragement, if you want Dr. Parris to tell you her story again, call her 766-8895 and just get encouraged. You can do all things through Christ who gives you the strength. He gave Dr. Parris the strength, and here she is. And we are so proud of her. I'm so proud of you, Dr. Parris. And, keep doing the awesome job that you're doing. We need it. This is essential. And I want this book to even go further. I pray God will continue to expand the territory and that more can be done, that more persons can take advantage of this resource. All right, so until next week, please God, we're gonna have Dr. Parris again. So thank you so much again, Dr. Parris, for being with us. Thank you, Growth Radio listeners all over the world for being with us this evening. And we're gonna see you next week, please God. Have a great and awesome weekend. Good night, everybody.
Growth Radio is growing with a new program, interview with the authors, local authors, regional authors, international authors, new authors, and well-seasoned authors too. Join us every Thursday evening from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. AST. We're interviewing authors, and who knows, next time we could be interviewing you. Interview with the authors every Thursday evening, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. on GrowthRadioTT.com.
Growth Radio.
Growth Radio. Growth Radio. Growth Radio. This is a message to the saints. The table has been set, so take your place. There is no more condemnation. There is only grace.
Growth Radio, Gospel Radio. Our way to heaven. Radio Gospel Radio, our way to heaven. One king and one kingdom making people feel like family.